Welcome back to Modeling Manhood. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about a story in our root cellar slash pantry area where we got a bunch of canning items. I don't know about you guys and what type of gardeners you are, but it seems like this time of year everybody, wherever you go, wants to keep all their windows all the way up because everybody wants to throw in their extra zucchini or squash in the windows whenever you park your vehicle, whether it's at church or at the supermarket, or just trying to give lots of zucchini or squash away. So one year we decided that we would take all our squash and try to can them. And I don't know about you guys, things like cherries do good in cans, pickles they do good, other things do really good canning them or preserving them, but squash, not good. So that's my recommendation or advice for you guys today. Do not try to can squash. So about a month after we canned all these jars and jars and jars of squash, we started getting this strange smell that started permeating the house. When I say strange, I mean absolutely nauseating, awful, disgusting smell. And we're like, what is that? We're like, is it rotten potatoes? Did something die in the basement? And we discovered like this container that was like festering, and what had happened was the squash for some reason decided to like explode inside the can. The jars were like splitting and coming apart, and there was rotten squash that was like just festering out like a nasty injury or gross like cyst or something like all over our basement. And these jars were just like bubbling over and just permeating the house. It was nauseating and so gross. And it was like the color of like, if you've ever seen like newborn babies, like their first couple of poops where it's really seedy, imagine like seedy squash poop with that terrible smell of like calf crap, like all mixed together, like just, oh, it was absolutely gross. So word of advice, do not try to can any squash. Give it away. Bless other people. And anyways, end of that story. I'm like getting all grossed out. In the Bible, Isaiah is talking to the people, and he gives this warning about the judgment that's coming to Judah and Jerusalem. And in Isaiah chapter 3, verse 24, and it's talking about what's going to happen. Instead of perfume, there will be rottenness. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes like my wife baking or making dinner just smells so sweet. Like your mouth starts salivating and you're just like so excited. Like what's for dinner or what's going to happen? Or while you're waiting in a restaurant, if you go out, you're like, you see somebody's meal come by and you're like, oh, what is that? When the waiter or the waitress comes by and you're like, that's what I want to order. It smelled so good. Well, this was anything but a sweet smell of perfume. It was rottenness. Instead of perfume, there will be rottenness. And instead of a belt, a rope. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. And instead of a rich robe, a skirt of sackcloth. And branding instead of beauty. Your men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty men in battle. And her gates shall lament and mourn. Empty, you will sit on the ground. And this is a warning of judgment that's coming to the nation, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom that Isaiah is talking about. And you know what? If we're not investing wisely or storing up treasures in heaven, kind of like this squash, we can have all the squash in the world, but you know what? It could be a great blessing. But if we're trying to keep it all to ourselves, moth and rust are going to eat it away, and it's going to fester up in our basements. So use the gifts God's given you. Bless other people with them, even if it's just saying, here's some squash, or this is what the Lord's done, and share your testimony with them. So that's my encouragement and challenge for you guys today. Share your blessings that the Lord's given you with other people rather than trying to keep them all to yourself. Let the lesson of the exploding squash and just that judgment that Isaiah was warning the nations there what was going to happen. This beauty is going to fade someday. And when we stand on Judgment Day, are we going to be seen as rotten or are we going to be seen as righteous? And a lot of that depends on the decisions we make today, especially the decision of where our heart is. What's our heart condition? Is your heart forgiven? Have you accepted the precious blood that's been given to you on the cross? Or are you just in denial and trying to do life on your own? So don't be like the rotten squash. Get your heart right with Jesus, and make sure you're storing up treasures in heaven so you can enjoy things like cherry pie filling. That looks delicious. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for joining us for another silly story. And remember to marry your maker and journey with Jesus.